So how do we factorize quadratics when the number in front of the x squared isn't a 1? Okay, if it's 2, 3, or something else, right? Something greater than 1. Well, we've got to sort of use a sort of magic sort of method, okay? Call it a magic method, that works all the time, and you get to the answer quite quickly. So, with this magic method, okay, what you do is, you have your pair of brackets, okay? Now, clearly, I can't put x, just x in both of them, right? Because if I did that, x here and x there, when you multiply it out, x times x is x squared. That's no good, okay? You want 2x squared. Well, what we do is this, right? Because there's 2x squared here, I'm going to put 2x in both brackets, okay? 2x in both brackets. This is sort of a magic method, and it will work. Now, you might be looking at this now and thinking, well, hang on a minute here. If you multiply them out, you get 4x squared. You do, okay? But I'll deal with that later, okay? This is sort of magic sort of method we can use, and it'll work out at the end. So just follow this approach. Because it's 2x squared there, just put 2x in both brackets for a minute. Now, when it comes to figuring out the two numbers that go here, remember, okay, with this sort of type of quadratic where the number here is greater than 1, okay, when you look then for pairs of numbers, it's not going to multiply to give the 3. Remember, in this case, the pair of numbers have to multiply to give 6, okay? And you might be asking, where did I get 6 from? Well, remember, when the number here is greater than 1, you have to multiply this by that n number there, okay? So whatever this is, multiply by the n number, you get 6, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for pairs of numbers that multiply to give 6. So 1 and 6 would be the first pair to look at. And then you ask yourself the same question then, can I get these to add up to give that number there? And of course we can, because 1 and 6 add up to give 7. So we'll put plus 1, plus 6. They will add up to give 7 and multiply to give 6. Now, we've got a problem, remember, because when you multiply these out, you've got to, you get 4x squared, don't you? And I want 2x squared. So what you've got to do with this method then, right, you always then divide the whole thing by the number here that's in front, right? So you divide the whole thing by 2. All right? Now, this is easy to do, because what you can do, okay, when you've got things times together on the top, okay, you can just divide one of them by 2 if that works, okay? And then you've got rid of the 2. Now, when we look at the first bracket, we can't really divide that by 2, can't we? Because that's 2x. Well, 2 goes into 2x, but it doesn't go into 1, doesn't it? It doesn't go into 1 perfectly. Okay, so the 2 isn't a factor here. But when we look at our second bracket, 2 is a factor, isn't it? So we could divide the second bracket by 2 instead. And we then get rid of this dividing by 2. So the first bracket will stay the same, but we just divide that second bracket then by 2. Okay, so if I divide that by 2, 2x divided by 2 is x. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And I've got my pair brackets, multiply them out, okay, and you'll see you get back to that. Okay, let's look at another one then, right? So in this case now, okay, we got 3 in front of that x squared. So again, I start off with my pair of brackets, but this time I'm going to put 3x in both brackets, yeah? And again, you know, you multiply them out, you're going to get 9x squared, okay? But this sort of magic method will deal with it. We'll deal with it later. So when it comes then to finding the pair of numbers, we've got to see, okay, we've got to find a number now that these pairs are going to multiply to. Now remember, it's not that n number there, because you've got to times the number in front of the x squared here by that 4, and you get 12. So that's what we want our pair of numbers to multiply to be, okay? So 12. So 1 and 12, okay, you multiply them, yeah, but we can't get it to add up to minus 7. 2 and 6, okay, well, it's pretty close. We could almost get it to minus 7, but not quite. The other pair of factors then 3 and 4. Now that works, doesn't it? 3 and 4 will work, because I can get it to be negative 7 then, okay? So what will I need to do to 3 and 4 to get it to negative 7? Well, if we make them both minus, okay, you've got negative 3, negative 4 there. That will add up to give negative 7. Okay, so what I do then is I put them in here. And one thing to check as well, of course, is they need to multiply to give positive 12. And they do, don't they? Because 2 negatives, when you multiply them, give positive. So that works for us as well. So we'll write them in here. And remember then, with this method, right, we're not quite done. Okay, because it doesn't work, doesn't it? you've got to then divide the whole thing by the number in front of the x squared by 3. So what we do then is we look at the first bracket and see, well, is 3 a factor there? And it is, isn't it? 3 goes into there. It doesn't go into the second bracket, but it divides into the first bracket, which is perfect for us. So we'll divide this first bracket there by 3. Okay, 3x divided by 3 is x. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Okay, and it gets rid of that 3 on the bottom there. And always check, multiply it out to see if it works. Okay, see if you get back to that.